Well, good evening everybody, and welcome to the Double Dash Motorsport Media YouTube channel. Andrew Mather here for what should be a really good bit of fun here on the channel. It's something we've not done before really here at DDMM. It's a live stream of iRacing action involving Club100 drivers and those from the BUKC as well. I am very glad to be joined this evening by James Johnson from Rich T Racing. JJ, how are you doing this evening?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this live iRace. I'm very happy to be here. It's a lovely evening as well, and I'm very much looking forward to some hopefully clean racing. Obviously, we've got Club100 and BUKC races. This can only be the cleanest event anyone has ever seen, surely.
Absolutely. You can get involved on the stream here. Oh, we should say which circuit we are live from here on iRacing. We're here at Okayama Speedway. It's the full layout that we're using this evening. We'll get on to format in a bit, but as you say, you can get in contact with us here on the stream. Best way of doing so is in the YouTube comments. You can put your comments in there, tell us who you're supporting, who you're cheering for this evening. You can also get in contact with us on Twitter at @double-mm. What else can you do? You can also get in touch with us on Facebook, liking the Facebook page at Double Dash Motorsport Media. All the things are across the top, basically, so I don't have to keep rambling on about them for minutes on end. But as we say, bumper field of BUKC and Club100 drivers here this evening. Absolutely fantastic stuff. We've got to give our big thanks to Steve Hicks. So I think it was on Wednesday that Steve had this idea of putting on this event. And before you know it, we've got over 45 drivers racing this evening. So, JJ, let's have a little look through the entry list that we've got this evening, flashing up on screen in a moment's time. And let's start with number one then, Steve Hicks, the organiser of this championship, or at least for this this first event. Whether we go into a full championship or not, we'll see what happens this evening. So he's the number one driver, super final champion from last year. We've got Josh Wellard here as well. Mike Hart makes a return to a Club100 arena of sorts, a very fast driver from BUKC days in the mid-2000s. James Fremont is here. He raced well in the practice session. Hussein Rashid, 5th in the entry list. This is how they all came out in terms of order of entries. Dan Cohen, looking forward to see how he does. Peter Cowan here as well. Tom Dix, regular at Clay Pigeon. Great to see him here. Calvin Greatorex as well. Not seen him race before. I'm keen to see how he gets on. Chris Bell, very experienced driver on iRacing and in Club 100 in years gone by. He's number 10. Anwar Barul Smith, former Premier Sprint champion. Oh, the thing's gone onto the page too. I clearly didn't get through them quick enough. Joe Charlton, good to have him back. Former BUKC champion. Andrew Ward, teammate of mine in the Barnstormers endurance team. Matthew Graham, meme lord of BUKC. How can he do here this evening? We'll see. Jordan Salter, JJ Aston, Jacques Jensen, Ludovic Daniels, Adrian Mertens. Good to see Adrian here, representing Belgium, number 32. James Ibram, racer for Edinburgh in the BUKC. Yusuf Bin Sahel as well, former racer for York. Matt Hale, the organiser of all the G3 Pro efforts, he's here. Tom Banks, good mate of mine, formerly raced for Loughborough back in the day in the mid-2000s. Recently returned to iRacing. Simon Young making his debut. A lot of Club 100 experience under his belt, but how is he going to do in this arena? We'll wait and see. Harry Jones as well. James Waller, Adam Bessel, Pointy O'Connor, another one of our debutants tonight, a regular driver in Sprint Elites, of course. Kirath Kalirai, another BUKCer. Chris Meads, Charlie Purd, Dave Turton, James Plunkett and James Child. Just to go back over the first bit of the entry list, which I didn't quite capture. There we go. So we had Mark Mercer. Mark Mercer, look out for Mark tonight. Very quick in practice. Replay Ray Norris. John May Crash Maycock. He definitely did crash last night in the practice event that we had. Aidan Bliss. Josh Ladd, another very experienced iRacer here this evening. Adam State, Kieran Chidsey, Andrew Cherry, Tony Simpson, Tom Edwards, Matt Isherwood, the legend of Cardiff BUKC entrance in years gone by, Jamie Jenkins, and Rob Newman as well. Who's he? Never heard of him before. Let's have a look through the format though, JJ. In fact, actually, before we go on to the format, any of those names take your fancy?
You know, obviously, as you mentioned, Josh Ladd, Mark Mercer, you've already told me about some of their qualities that we can expect to see. I'm personally going to be looking out for JJ Aston, obviously, my namesake. Hopefully he will have a very good race. We'll throw Jack Jensen in there as well. Again, can make it that into JJ. Got to support him. Just expecting anything to happen to Matthew Graham. Just keep an eye on the BUKC Facebook page, because something is bound to get put up on it if he has a bit of a shocker along the way. And I'll throw Joe Charlton in there, because I happen to be actually wearing a Charlton Athletics shirt, so I've got to support him as well. But yeah, no, it looks like a very good grid, and yeah, just hopefully they all know what they're doing.
I think hopefully is the optimum word there. Let's have a look through this format then. So we're in free practice at the moment, another 12 minutes of that to go before we then go into a 15-minute period for qualifying. Each driver will have the chance to do 3 flying laps in that one. Then we'll commence the racing at about 7:15. Race 1 will be 10 laps with the grid set by results from qualifying. We'll immediately, swiftly go into race number 2, which will be another 10-lap race with the reverse grid of race 1's results setting that grid. Then a bit of a warm-up, mainly for us to tally up the points here in DDMM HQ and find out what the heck is going on. Before we then go into race 3, another 10-lap race, grid set by the top 15 from race 2 being reversed, 16th down being as per race 2 results. Points for each race, 100 if you win, 95 for second, 92 for third, 90 for fourth, 89 for fifth, and then it's a point per position to the bottom of the field. I feel like I've rattled... there we go, absolutely on time. Here's the circuit. Okayama International Circuit in the Mimasaka region of Japan. We're on the full course this evening, so 2.314 miles in length around this 11-turn circuit. And it's a regular one in the global MX-5s. Myself had a quick run around the short course a number of weeks ago. But this long circuit, lots of straights, lots of hairpins, heavy braking zones, JJ. It's just the kind of circuit that you want for a bit of overtaking action.
Absolutely, yeah, it's what we're liking to see. And as probably going to be mentioning this a fair amount during this, is that we'll be looking out for some banditry as well. I believe I commentated on a race by Mr. James Derrick here at this track. I remember it being very flowing. Deceptively complicated as well. You might look at it and think, oh, it's a couple of hairpins, a couple of nothing corners, but don't be fooled by that, because it is bound to throw up a lot of challenges for the drivers as we go through these races.
Indeed. Let's get on with a little bit of more housekeeping. We've got a message. We've had a message come in from a viewer, a regular viewer to Club 100 Action. It is, of course, the one and only John Viger, who got in touch with me this morning. He says hello. He says that he's missing us all. And I think I'll be the first to say, JV, we're all missing you as well, mate. And can't wait to get back up and running with both Club 100 and BUKC Action for real, as we think, fingers crossed, in July. But the boss has also got in contact with me just to state that there are some public service announcements. Most of you have probably already seen the news earlier in the week in terms of what Club 100 is planning to do to get us up back and running. Now Motorsport UK's guidelines have come out, and we do appreciate those. He wanted me to remind all of you that there are test days being planned and can be booked for in June. So this is ahead of when we actually race fully licensed, of course. So it meets the guidelines in that respect. Wilton Mill is the first test venue on the 14th of June. And then we've got another test on the 27th of June at Rye House. Those tests are open to Club 100 members past and present, and BUKC drivers as well. Previous experience in Club 100 machinery is advisable. For more information, head across to the website www.club100.co.uk/COVID-19. So all the pieces of information are on there. And I've had another announcement to make for any BUKC people. Look out for a message from the main man, Willie Chu, on Tuesday. So that's Tuesday that some news from Willie's going to come out regards testing plans. As fingers crossed, JJ, it'll be September when we finally get round to finishing the BUKC 2020 season.
I mean, the way we left it in GYG, the championship's so finely poised between those top four teams. I think it's Coventry still leading the way, then Brooks, Loughborough, and I believe Exeter as well. They're the other one in there, going for the championship. So yeah, it was all set up perfectly. So it's the biggest team we've had in BUKC, I think, ever. And hopefully, when we do return, as and when that happens, it will be absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait. Hopefully we'll be able to be involved as well, and to bring you that live on Double Dash Motorsport Media, of course.
Indeed.
Just checking on the comments, because it's going to be predominantly my role during this. Thank you to Ben Burns. Chigo equals better. Not sure what that means. And someone named Polly Baker, who's got the whole Baker fam tuned in. Let's go. Let's bloody go. Let's bloody go.
Indeed. And you can see some cars out on circuits for the first time here on the Double Dash Motorsport Media channel. Thank you to everyone who's done some really nice and snazzy liveries, which is helping us tell the different drivers apart. You can see on the left of your shot there, number 73, Yusuf Bin Sahel. Currently have a practice battle. This is free practice, guys, with Jamie Jenkins, I think that is, in the number 48. For once on the DDMM broadcast, I'm not going to refer to things by driver numbers because I don't know what they are. They're all completely different from the entry list. But I do know with the livery with the cigarette brand on there, that is Jamie Jenkins. So in terms of how these races all work, JJ, I know a good pal of yours is involved in the iRacing world. What's been your take on it, especially through this COVID period, whilst there's been a lot of racing going on in the esports world?
Well, I think esport, obviously, you don't want to say that it's been flourishing, doing so well, because it's obviously a very negative situation. But it has to be said that esports, and particularly iRacing, has absolutely it's flown on. It's doing so well, and I think it's reached out to a whole new community. And I think hopefully from here, obviously we want to get real racing going again as well. But I think you're going to see these type of platforms, these type of servers getting so much better as we go on. So yeah, I think it's been brilliant. I think it's been great to see the F1 drivers getting involved as well. And based on the experience of my friend Mr. James Derrick, if you do want to head over to Rich T Racing, of course, you can see him actually chasing down Antonio Felix da Costa in a Formula 3 race, and that a very entertaining thing to watch. But yes, absolutely, I think it's been fantastic, and just once again doing a bit of housekeeping. Hello to Moto Meerkat, who says, "Why, hello there, Rich T Racing and Double Afro Sport Media, of course." Obviously, a successful YouTuber is the Meerkat. Unfortunately, he is from Cardiff, so that got to dock some points for that. But no, fantastic to see we've got a decent amount of people watching as well. So again, just showing how well the iRacing community and esports in general are doing during this.
Motor Meerkat asks for where is my face on Aidan Bliss's car, and right on cue. Thank you very much, iRacing. Oh, let me just click the right button. There it is! Look at that! That is one of my favourite liveries this evening. JJ, you'll see this in about 20 seconds' time. But that is a quite spectacular use of the trading paints application there to stick Moto Meerkat's face on the front of an ND Global MX-5. I'm loving that. I really am loving some of the liveries. In fact, before we get into the racing, let's just try and find some of the good ones. Where is Mike Hart? There he is. I think this one will be very, very popular with the BUKC Facebook group because it's just full of memes. You've got Doge on there. In fact, that's quite an old. That's an old BUKC meme reference. A bit of Doge in there.
Just coming in. I've just got the Meerkat on my screen. I have to say, it surely was simples to get that onto the car.
Very good.
I'll see myself out.
Hello to Kieran Fitzgerald as well. Said good luck to the Fantasy WRC boys. We've been having a bit of Fantasy WRC action here on this channel for Dirt Rally 2.0. Apologies to the FWRC boys because I did not get my runs around Scotland done in time. But we have been pretty busy getting this stream up and running, and we do hope you enjoy it. We are very much, going into the unknown here. I've never done this before. JJ, I don't believe you've done this kind of thing before. We'll see what happens with it.
Not live. We've done some post-editing commentaries for iRacing, but no, this type of thing completely new to me, and technology in general completely new to it all. Don't understand.
Got Anwar Barul Smith on screen at the moment, our champion in sprints from 2015, which is my first year in BUKC. Seems a long in Club100 rather. Seems like a very long time ago now, but still with a lot of pace. Anwar, we're a couple of minutes away from the start of qualifying. Here's Mark Taylor, the number 43, with John Maycock in a very lovely shade of green there. Good to see British Racing green out here in this event. And just to let everybody into a little bit of a secret, we did have a test event, 6 of us, well 7 of us including myself, not actually racing, last night. John was part of that. Had some yeets out, shall we say, and got some new bumpers on that MX-5. Good to see him here, and I reckon he's going to have a good night tonight. Here's John Maycock. Here's Mark Mercer on screen now, number 1. Will he be number 1 at the end of the evening? A lot of the drivers tip to be at least up in the top 5 in this event this evening. We'll see how he gets on. I've just had a note from David Whitehouse saying John may crash. Well, I mean, yes. I mean, I don't think there's any may involved with it. John Maycock is going to have a crash at some point this evening. It's just a question of when, not if. Peter Cowan just behind him as well, going down the inside. It is now 7 o'clock, so I'm anticipating iRacing's cars to all go poof in any second now as the qualifying session is due to begin.
Just hopefully not to cut across there, Andrew, but just keep an eye on the comments. A big shout out to James Abraham, who thanks to Sandro Paparakis has just received his PhD. So congratulations to Dr. James Abraham. Red Fight saying that Chigo sucks at Call of Duty. Let's keep it clean, boys. Okay, keep it clean. And then, actually, no, there's some comeback down here as well. As Kieran Chigsty has claimed that Red Fight has potato knees. This is not the language I was expecting. And now Red Fight's getting back and don't text and drive, you animal. So obviously some form of feud that I'm not particularly aware of. But and just as I say that, apparently James Abraham did not get his PhD. So yeah, the comments could be mucking about with me here. But anyway.
Checkered flag is out. Sorry, JJ. Checkered flag is out. A lot has been made about the enthusiastic waving of flags here in iRacing, yeah, that was an exuberant checkered flag wave for the end of the practice session. So we're going to get set for qualifying now. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not quite sure who we're going to look at for this one, because how it works if you're new to iRacing is everybody goes out sort of by themselves. So when you're in the sim yourself, as we're looking at Josh Wellard at the moment, you're out on circuit on your own with the best chance to do a clean lap. And we're just going to leave it, I think, on most exciting mode and see who it picks up. Here's James Fremont in the gunmetal grey fender entry. Kirith Kalirai here with the white and turquoise little number there, number 16. Lap times, I think, from looking at some of the practice times, JJ, I think we're going to have a bit of field spread. I think that's a given. But
Yep.
Something around a 1:47 perhaps should get you a decent way up the grid, I think.
Well, for the first time, I think, since we've been commentating, I'm going to mean here, but we will simply wait to see. I get the impression.
Mark Mercer on your screen at the moment. Still on his outlap at the moment, so things just staying nice and calm for at least this stage. Here's Yusuf Bin Sahel we cut to with the flame livery. I feel someone by the name of Cobb may have something to say about that livery in BUKC circles, JJ. The use of flames.
Sorry, Andrew, I was keeping an eye on the comments.
The use of flame liveries.
Oh yes.
That's kind of already taken in the BUKC, isn't it?
Is it?
I should hope so, by Mr. Cobb.
Well, I'm sure we will wait to see on that front. Oh, and sorry, just also big hello to Craybound Karting, who says, "Evening, gents. Hope you're all well," and also to Super GT, who has chosen to join in. Welcome, Mr. Alvarez Brown. He says, "Good luck, chaps. Watch out for Steve Hicks at turn 1. It's going to be biblical." Well, I ad-libbed that final part.
Well, yes, I know from experience, if you're on a grid with Steve Hicks, you probably want to be behind him. The Moses effect will come into full force. But of course, if you're ahead of Steve Hicks, prepare yourselves. I think that's the only thing I can say on that. We're now on to qualifying laps then. Yusuf Bin Sahel was still with here at the moment on his opening of 3 laps as we cut to Chris Bell now in the 100 car, going through Atwood Curve at the moment. He's going to go on this long straight down to the beautifully named hairpin. That's all it's called. And then you go back onto the short circuit, which I had a little bit of experience of a couple of weeks ago. Chris Bell chucking the car in there was another one of the drivers in our test event last night. Ran very, very well during that. Although we did have some synchronised spinning on the double left-handers that you're looking at the moment through Revolver and Piper. Go ahead, JJ.
No, I just wanted to say a nice little comment coming here from Mr. Alex Edwards. Good luck to Charlie Purr, the number 44 car, who's apparently cleverly using iRacing to avoid nappy duty this evening with his second baby girl born on the 13th of May and All Talk Racing team sending him their best.
Well, good to see a couple of the All Talk Racing guys in tonight. Long-time endurance team.
Just to come in as well there, Andrew, Stephen Hicks is getting involved in the chat as well. I thought he was meant to be driving, so apparently you can use your phone and drive at the same time in iRacing. I'm not sure that's allowed. But there we go. He's just giving a little bit of backlash to Super GT, telling him not to get salty about the Super Final Championship. So obviously, and something I might not be too privy to, but yes, good to see a little bit of banter going on there between the arch rivals, I'm guessing.
Well, of course, Steve Hicks picked Steve Brown to that Super Final Championship at Clay Pigeon at the back end of last season. We've got some times coming in. We've got Jordan Salter on your screen at the moment, and the very nice, I've got to say, that's a very nice colour combo. He's gone P5 at the moment with a 147.048. Here's the point at which I try and find out who's actually on pole position. Bear with me, folks. John Maycock there, just cut back to him. He's gone P8 early on in this session. Chris Bell hasn't registered a lap time yet, so he's on his first flying lap now. I told you this qualifying session was going to be a bit weird. Kirith Kalirai has gone into 18th position, 149.441 for him. Let's cut back a little bit further. There's Jack Jensen still, well, he's on his out lap at the moment. Harry Jones, here he is in the Logitech number 33. He's gone P16 at the moment, a 148.568 for Harry. He's on his second flying lap at the moment. There is Steve Hicks out on circuit now, so I think he was just waiting for the track conditions to settle down. Here he is in the grey and orange liveried Mazda MX-5. Fanatec logos on the side there. We'll wait to see what his lap time looks like in a moment. Here's Hussein Rashid. Really enjoyed watching Hussein Rashid race in lightweights over the past 2 years. Very good driver here in the number 12. Currently 6th place, a 146.603, so things changing quite quickly. Here is the end of Rashid's second lap onto the pit straight out of again, I like the corner names around here. They're very, very simple. That's last corner. Over the start finish, a 146.594, so it's a slight improvement, but I think he has been knocked down to 7th place out there by somebody. James Waller, there he is in the Martini liveried car, 148.686 for him. He's in 25th position. It's Anwar Barul Smith. Anwar Barul Smith currently at the top of the timesheets then, so the former Premier Sprint champion has managed to do a 146.003 there. Was that on his first lap? No, that was on his second lap, but his first lap was pretty quick as well, a 146.118. So let's stay with Barul Smith then as he comes down the back straight and into the hairpin. Can he improve on the 146.003 that he's already set in this qualifying session? Hard on the brakes into this tight hairpin. Crucial in the race as well to get good traction out of that corner before you then head into Revolver. Try not to run too wide. Barul Smith using all the track and a little bit more there. This is a good tidy lap so far from Anwar Barul Smith out of Piper's corner. Redmond's is next. A tricky corner this because it's all about the exit, setting yourself up for immediately the next right-hander, which is Hobbs. Again, this is looking nice and tidy from Barul Smith. Currently, still has pole position. Nobody's been able to beat that 146.003. Round Mike Knight corner, then round last corner. Can Barul Smith go any quicker? This is his last opportunity in this qualifying session. It's been a tidy one. Has he got the speed? Can he get into the 145s? Over start finish. Here he goes. A 146.154, so not quicker, but a very, very good effort there from Barul Smith. Is anybody else still circulating round? Yes, Jack Jensen is still circulating round. He's on his third lap now. He's currently in 14th place in the number 52, a 147.390. I'm just trying to see who else has got lap times still to go. Matt Isherwood has gone into second place. Matthew Graham's third. Josh Ladd, we said he'd be up there at the front, so he's gone P4. Hussein Rashid fifth and Yusuf bin Sahel sixth. But Jack Jensen, as we say here, he's on his third lap. 147.390 to stick him in the top third of this field. Trying to see if there's anybody else still out there on the second. Chris Bell is, here he is, 30th at the moment. I can tell you on a 148.365, and I think got his first lap deleted as well, so obviously some form of issue for Bell on his first lap. Maybe just trying to get a bit of a banker time on that second one. We'll stay with him as he goes round the last couple of corners. Very much has a kart circuit feel, this last sector. The 90-degree corners. And always having to keep moving the car, keep moving the wheel. Round the last couple of corners. Here comes Chris Bell then. Can he improve from 30th on the grid? Keeping it in track limits nicely there. Across start finish. Be hoping to get up into the 147s, I think, for Chris Bell, and he does get into the 47s and up to 20th position. So that was a good lap there from Chris Bell. Looks like pretty much everyone has got through their laps. Here's Matt Hale in the G3 Pro entry. He's got 32nd place at the moment on the grid. Charlie Purr. Charlie Purr has not set any lap times so far, so let's stay with the All Talk Racing driver here because he's on his out lap at the moment. Just to run through some of the other results. So as you say, still Barul Smith on pole position. Second place, Matt Isherwood, 2/10 behind. Matthew Graham third, Josh Ladd fourth. Hussein Rashid fifth, and it's Binter Hale sixth. Mark Mercer has got P7. Jordan Salter nicely up there in the top 10 in 8th. Steve Hicks 9th. Kieran Chitty wrapping out that top 10. And at the moment, I think we've just got Raymond Norris, Charlie Purr and Mark Taylor yet to set lap times. Field spread at the moment. Actually, you've got to say, the field spread across the first 30 is a lot closer than I thought it would be. It's about 2.5 seconds at the moment across this field, which should mean that we're in for a very, very good race. We'll stay with Charlie Purr, though. This is his first flying lap through first corner. Oh, but he's gone very wide there. Does not want to be doing that. So already this first lap is compromised. He's going to have dirty tyres as he goes into Williams corner. Next up is the Moss S. I'm just going to keep things nice and tidy before you get to Atwood Curve, the first of the big stops, the big hairpin. Right-hand hairpin here in the number 88. But apart from that first little incident on turn 1, this has been a good lap so far from Charlie Purr. Do hope you're enjoying the content here. You can subscribe for more here at Double Dash Motorsport Media. Click the bell icon as well for notifications of future streams that we're going to do here on iRacing and other games as well, Gran Turismo Sport and Rally 2.0 all coming up, and maybe, if we can make the technology work, old technology with new technology, a bit of Grand Prix 4 as well, because why the heck not? Down the back straight, here comes Charlie Purr. This has continued to be a good lap from the All Talk Racing driver. He's been racing since 2017. Go ahead, JJ.
I just want to throw this one in there. Go and say Rich T Racing has absolutely nothing to do with Rich T Biscuits. We are a completely different organisation. Stop calling me soggy in the comments. We're not biscuits, okay? We're a discount We're a discount Double Dash Motorsport Media. Leave us alone. But just also to come in, obviously Milky Cereal, who's referred to me by my first name. I don't understand that. He's also texting whilst driving. Not sure that's allowed, but obviously rules are different for iRacing. Jonathan Goddard saying, wishing Chris Bell good luck. We're saying go on, Chris Bell. And yeah, then we just go into Rich T Biscuit. So yeah, keep the comments coming in. Good chat going on. Everyone having a go also at Kieran Chigsby. Not sure I understand what's going on there. Something to do with Chico Feta. If someone could explain that to me as well. Not a clue. Not a clue. But there we go.
I'll be enlightened on that one as well. Here's Simon Young finishing his third lap, and it's a 1:48.357. So solid lap time there from Simon. Goes into 28th position. And actually, I'm going to say that is a very good qualifying from Simon Young because he's just picked up iRacing today. So that's very, very good from Simon Young to get himself in the top 30 there. Very experienced driver. Started Club 100 kart racing back in 2002. He was racing in the BUKC and has been a regular in Club 100, full Club 100 Championship since 2008. So very good stuff there from Simon Young. Who else have we still got out there? Adrian Mertens, I think, has completed his qualifying. Unfortunately, he's had lap times deleted on his second and third attempt. So a 149.162 for him. Unfortunately, Mertens is going to be 38th on the grid. Here's Raymond Norris. We said that Raymond Norris hadn't completed his lap times. He's on his third flying lap as we speak in the number 8. Oh, runs a little bit wide coming out of Piper's Corner there. 147.453 is what Norris is sat on at the moment, which is good enough for 15th place on the grid for race number 1. Remember, race number 1, nice and simple. Grid set by the qualifying order from this 15-minute session. And in fact, Norris has disappeared, which means he's obviously decided that that lap was not going to be good enough. And I think that has brought qualifying to an end. So to read out the result for you, apologies, I know you can see half the results on the screen. We're working on that. Anwar Barul Smith has pole position for race number 1, a 146.003 for him. Matt Isherwood will be alongside him on the front row, a 146.223. Matthew Graham very close in third, a 146.282. Josh Ladd fourth with a 146.331. Hussein Rashid and Steve Hicks will be on row 3. Yusuf bin Sahel and Mark Mercer row 4. Jordan Salter and Kieran Chidsey row 5. John Maycrash Maycock and Mike Hart will be on row 6. That could get interesting. Tom Dixon, Jack Jensen will be on row 7. Raymond Norris and Tom Edwards row 8. Adam Staten, Tom Banks row 9. Calvin Greaterix and James Child on row 10. Dan Cohen and Jamie Jenkins row 11. Chris Bell and Peter Cowan row 12. Andrew Cherry and Andrew Ward on row 13. JJ Aston and Simon Young row 14. James Ibram and Harry Jones wrap out the top 30 on row 15. Adam Bessel and Tony Simpson row 16. Chris Meads and Matt Hale row 17. Kirith Kalirai and James Waller on row 18. And then it'll be James Fremont, Adrian Mertens. And I'm just going to make sure that, yep, we are now ready for the race. So let's forget about the grid for this precise moments. There you see Anwar Barul Smith on pole position. Green flag in the air. Away we go then for this first race of the evening at Okayama Speedway. Very good start there from number 14 down the inside. We'll try and realise who that is at the moment. But a very good start for Anwar Barul Smith there, straight into the lead. Cutting back there, Daniel Cohen trying to get up the inside of a couple of other drivers. Matt Isherwood has had a decent start, is in 4th place there. Steve Hicks already coming through the field, I can see. In the 21, Hussein Rashid challenges Isherwood for that position, but a very good start for Anwar Barul Smith down into the hairpin for the first time. Bin Sahel's trying to look around the outside. There's a spin in the middle of the pack there. Not quite sure who that was. It was the number 18. We'll try and figure out who that was in a moment. But Anwar Barul Smith has got a very, very good lead early on here. Hussein Rashid trying to hold on for 2nd place. Matthew Graham involved there as well. Oh, contact between the number 40 and the number 60. And contact, oh, Hicks and Bin Sahel getting into one another. And there's another car involved. I think it might have been Jordan Salter. But Hicks, chaos has reigned. The event organiser spin, oh, and he's hit the number 17. What is the super fight? Well, he's got to be careful here. Look at how big this field is. It's still coming through. James Fremont dodges him and yeet. There you go. Number 37 has just piled into Steve Hicks there. It's all gone wrong for the super final champion. Tony Simpson looks like he's in trouble as well. Down the back straight is absolute chaos here at Okayama Speedway. The number 37, I'm just trying to figure out who that was. It might have been Andrew Ward. Yes, it was. So Andrew Ward, classic Club 100 look for Andrew Ward. It never seems to go well for him when he's in individual events. That MX-5 is done. It is done for this race, and he's going to have to come into the pits for repairs on that one. Who else is coming into pit lane? Tom Banks has been involved. Tom Banks has had an incident there in the number 40. So he's going to be hoping he can get a good grid position for race 2 out of the reverse grid. And, well, who else is coming in? Charlie Purr is in the pits. David Turton is in the pits. Oh, dear, it's all gone wrong straight away. Chris Meads is in the pits in the number 40. Simon Young. Oh, Simon Young, after that great qualifying, has had to come in. Now, fast repairs on tonight, thankfully, for these drivers. Calvin Greatorix back out on circuits. Well, let's leave all of that for now. Let's focus on the lead battle, if we can find it. Kieran Chidsey in the number 26 is somewhere involved in all of this. I think, in fact, no, it's the number 18 he's involved with. Here's John Maycock. Whoa, round goes Mike Hart! Mike Hart in the meme car has spun out there. And, well, that's a very uncharacteristic mistake from the 2014 Caterham Supersport champion, but he's going to have to get back to the pits now for repairs to his Mazda. This is absolutely crazy here in the early stages of this one. This is just the end of lap 2. Josh Ladd here in the number 14. He's had a very good start, up to second place now. Experienced driver. He's even doing a little bit of training, I believe, to Tony Kanaan for some of the iRacing events, the IndyCar events rather, in weeks gone by. But he's trying to work with number 19 just behind him. And there's Barul Smith streaking away, already starting to catch up with some traffic. It's Matthew Graham, the number 19, just behind in that kind of triangulated livery affair there. Hussein Rashid still hanging about in 4th place. And it's Mark Mercer wrapping out the top 5. So this quartet trying to catch up to Anwar Barul Smith. Jonathan Goddard says, JV says get the red flag out. He wants to tell them all off. Too much contact. I don't think he has the authority on this one tonight. It's too much. There's too much carnage out there. Even JV can't control this one. Ladd goes defensive then against Matthew Graham. Matthew Graham a race. Oh, there's contact between Ladd and Graham. 2 BUKC drivers getting together there. Hussein Rashid's going to try and get through now into 3rd place. But Graham does well to recover and retain the position. Mark Mercer's now up the inside of Hussein Rashid. Good driving there from Mark Mercer, up to 4th place. And just behind, let's have a little look at the cars trying to catch them. It's Jack Jensen, the number 52, in 6th place. John Maycock may crash, but so far looking pretty good there in 7th place. Jordan Salter. So Jordan Salter got a lot of damage. You can see damage to the front left of Jordan Salter's car, but clearly still happy to continue there in 8th place. Adam State in 9th. Tom Edwards in the Hazard livery, I think as we're calling it, wrapping up the top 10. Mike Hart, that's how much chaos there's been in this race. Mike Hart had the spin in the wall, I think has got some repairs done, and is already back up to 11th place. Being followed by Chris Bell, having a little drift around there. Jamie Jenkins now 13th. Bincer Hale has got back out as well. He's up to 14th now. So a lot of drivers have had problems early on in this one. Back with the leaders though. Still Anwar Barul Smith out front. And there's Josh Ladd going for 2nd place. I think they're actually going past some of the traffic now. So the number 88 there. Matthew Graham still there in 3rd. Hussein Rashid has got back up to 4th place, back past Mark Mercer there in the Suave number 1 car. We're on lap 4 then of this 10-lap heat. Good battles going on in the lower parts of the top 10. Number 32 is Adam State. He's currently in 9th place, so Mike Hart now up to 10th. Tom Simpson just ahead of them. This race starting to settle down now as we cut back to James Child. Currently 15th place in the number 5. He's got Yusuf bin Sahel just ahead of him there in 14th. Jamie Jenkins in 13th. You can also see Aidan Bliss and that distinctive face, that big old face on number 24 is trying to close in as well. As bin Sahel goes down the inside of Jamie Jenkins there for a move for 13th place. That's a good move. That's a very good move from Yusuf bin Sahel. Gets it done nice and cleanly and is up another position. I think it's Charlie Purr, the number 88, who is doing some good work just keeping out of the way of the faster drivers. So well done to Charlie Purr. We always like to give a little thanks to backmarkers doing the correct thing. As up the inside, James Child side by side with Jamie Jenkins there for I think that's 14th position. And in fact, yes, Child has got the move done. He's got past and into that position. Lap 5 then will be halfway through this first heat of the evening. James Child just started to pull away from Jamie Jenkins there, trying to close in on Yusuf bin Sahel. A couple of other drivers further back trying to catch up as well. James Child does look like he's got damage though on the front left corner. It's clearly not affecting him too much. There's Charlie Purr in the number 88. Child gets up the inside. Not sure how much experience Charlie Purr has, but on iRacing, but he's keeping a good level here. Oh, problem for Child. He's gone very slowly down the pit straight and been taken by both Jamie Jenkins and the number 28 as well. Which of course is James Ibram. BUKC driver for Edinburgh University. Lots of experience as well. Trying to find his way past Jamie Jenkins here. There's a good opportunity coming up though into the Atwood hairpin, but he just holds for now. Maybe he prefers the big long run down into turn 5. Into the turn 5 hairpin as they go over the top of the hill. We're going to stay with these two. This is a good battle at the moment between Ibram and Jenkins. Ibram tries to pull out. Has he got the power to get past the red and white car of Jenkins? It looks like he's going to get alongside at least into turn 5. Nice and early on the brakes. He should have the move done. Can he get the traction off the corner? Yes, very nicely done there by James Ibram, and that will be him up to 14th position. Cutting back then to Tom Edwards. 9th place at the moment for Edwards. He's got John Maycock just ahead of him there. So this is the battle over 8th position at the moment. Look out for Adam State still behind as well in the red, black and white car. Just holding on at the moment to 10th place ahead of Mike Hart, but Mike Hart's going to have a little look down the inside. Holds in 11th place for now. Very, very even race here so far up in the top 15. We're on lap 7 out of 10 for this first race of the evening. 2 more to follow. Reverse grid for the second race, remember, which if the first lap was chaotic enough with them all in qualifying order, I dread to think what's going to happen in race number 2. Couple of calls for where is Matt Isherwood. There he is. 28th place at the moment, having a fight with Matthew Hale in the G3 Pro Kart. Banish Lads asking, is live timing available? Unfortunately not for tonight, but it is something that we're looking at for future races. Can help us out there with a bit of support in the links below. The number 36 going down the inside of Matthew Hale. It's Daniel Cohen in the Oreo liveried car. Matt Isherwood trying to fight back as well. Josh Wellard just ahead of them as well in the number 29. It looks like he's had some contact. The bumper all askew on that car, but Mish trying to go down the inside now. He's got Cohen. Can he try and get Hale? Hale defends well. Closes the door there. Oh, Mish has a bit of a problem getting off the corner, but recovers for now. Tight line. Has Hale run a little bit wide there? Yes, he has, and that's the opportunity that Mish needs to get up the inside. There's Raymond Norris. Oh, contact there, and Hale's on the grass, and he's going to go in the wall. Oh, that's a huge amount of damage there for the G3 Pro driver. Into the wall, unfortunately. Can he get the car going again? Yes, he can. Oh dear, there's a lot of damage there. I actually think Hale was a lap down because I've got him scored as in 42nd position at the moment. Austin Lee's asking where is Calvin Greater-Ixon. Unfortunately in the pits. Not good news at all for Greater-Ixon. Is down in 43rd position. Let's just cut back to the leader. There's Hussein Rashid there in 3rd. Jacob Ladd still in 2nd, but Anwar Barul-Smith now on lap 8 has been calm and serene pretty much through the whole of this heat. Had pole position, of course. And got a very good start. Missed out on all the chaos behind him. Still in the low 146s as well. What's the pace like relative to Josh Ladd? There is Josh Ladd. Well, Josh Ladd has been able to get to the 145s, so he's slightly quicker than Burrell Smith. Oh, Ladd runs a little bit wide coming out of last corner. Hearing from the comments, I think Matthew Graham might be out of the race. I think he may have had an engine problem. Let's try and find where he is on the list. There he is. Yes, he is in the pit. So Matthew Graham, unfortunately, out of this race. Back with Burrell Smith on 46.396 last time around for Burrell Smith. Josh Ladd 2/10 quicker. Burrell Smith should have enough though in hand to hold on to this. It's got to be forced into a mistake, but look at what's going on behind. 3rd place battle, really, really good stuff between Hussein Rashid and Mark Mercer. And battle going on as well for 5th place. Jordan Salter at the head of this with Jack Jensen. John Maycock in there as well. Jack Jensen trying to go round the outside of Salter for 5th position. Deep on the brakes. Maycock may want to take advantage of this. Jensen's going to try going for the cutback. Oh, bit of contact there between Salter and Jensen, but they stay as they were, 5th, 6th and 7th place. But this is great racing here being put on by the Club 100 drivers and the BUKC drivers here in iRacing round Okayama Speedway. Tom Edwards still there in the number 15, not too far behind. Rashid holding on to 3rd place. Ladd still 2nd. But Burrell Smith pushing the limits now. Knows it's not completely won. Needs to keep the pace up and not make any mistakes. Easier said than done. 9 laps down, 1 to go then for Burrell Smith. Battle for 3rd still raging on. Hussein Rashid defending really hard. You saw him cut across the driver's right as they went down the pit straight. It's going to need a big, big send from Mark Mercer to get that move done, I think. We'll keep an eye on it. What can Josh Ladd do here? Is he content on taking what'll be a big, big haul of points? It'll be 95 points for him. There's, oh dear, oh no. There's a Steve Hicks on the scene. What is he going to do on this last lap? I do have the power to dock points if there's any banditry that's too much. And Steve Hicks, well, we've already seen his incidents. He had one earlier on lap 1, which took out several drivers, and Anwar Burrell Smith will just be pleading, praying at this stage of the race. Please, Steve, please don't do anything silly. And to be honest, I don't think he is. He's just going to pull to one side let Burrell Smith and Ladd through, but Ladd has closed a lot on this lap. This is a very, very good end to the race for Josh Ladd. Can he close in and force some form of manoeuvre on Anwar Burrell Smith on the last couple of corners? He has a half little look there. 2 corners to go. Oh, Burrell Smith's made a mistake there, and Josh Ladd's going to be down the inside through Mike Knight corner. It's going to go to the final corner. Has Burrell Smith got it done? I think he has, round the final corner. Well, and he's on the grass. There's a dramatic finish there. Burrell Smith, no, Burrell Smith is slow. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Will Burrell Smith take it? Yes, he will. Oh boy, very, very dramatic stuff there right at the end. But it's Anwar Burrell Smith who wins it from Josh Ladd. Hicks is in the gravel again. I think it was 3rd in the end for Hussein Rashid, 4th for Mark Mercer, 5th for Jordan Salter. Jack Jensen finishes in 6th, Maycock 7th, Edwards 8th, States 9th, Reed 10th, Bin Sahel 11th. But what a dramatic race there throughout here at Okayama Speedway. I'm going to bring James Johnston back in. JJ, what did you think to that first race of the evening?
Well, that was quite something in the end, wasn't it? I have to say, despite all of the incidents we did see on the first lap, I was surprised at how relatively calm it was for the majority of it. I mean, obviously you've got Steve Hicks coming in there, not sure what he was doing, just planting it in the gravel right at the end there. But I suppose that is that's the mindset, I guess. But yeah, fantastic stuff to see. I think also it should be noted a good recovery from Mr. Vince Hale, obviously getting taken out by who was it that took him out? Was it Steve Hicks right at the start? Yes, it was. So a good recovery drive from him to get into P11. Again, if not sure what Tony Hale was doing. Matt Hale even was doing. If he was a lapped car trying to get involved with the front runners, got to be careful doing that sort of thing in all forms of racing, particularly obviously on track, but generally speaking, got to make sure if you're a backmarker, you're respecting the front runners. Club100 Racing coming in with a bit of shade here for the standards, saying it's terrible and that JV shouldn't see any of this, and he'll try and that whoever's running Club100 might not mention it. But this could end up working its way back to JV, everyone. So just behave for the next race.
We're quickly getting ready, though, for the next race, the second race of the evening. This will be a reverse grid race of the results from race number 1, of course. And I'm now just trying to work out who will be on pole position as the grid forms up. Who else have we got in the comments, JJ?
We've got Moto Meerkat coming up, giving his support for the Cardiff boys. I think Matt Isherwood was a little bit before his time, so he was asking after Josh Ladd and Aidan Bliss. Who else have we got? We've got Club100 coming up a few times. Madam Dad's saying that Super GT called it, so obviously the man they call Mr. Alvarez Brown calling it apparently. What else we got going on here? Still a lot of shade going on for Chigo. A lot of people clamouring to see.
Sorry, JJ, just to cut across you, we go for race number 2 then. Away they go for the reverse grid derby. This is going to be absolute chaos into turn number 1. Oh, as the camera cuts to the scrutineering garage, that's not the most exciting shot, but somehow I think all of them have got through early on in this one. Quicker drivers will try to be cutting through from the back. Chris Meath there. Oh, it's round and Steve Hicks has gone again. Steve Hicks has gone again. There's another one in the middle of the track. 25, and it's like Spa 98 out there. There's cars flying everywhere. The number 8 is nearly rolled. John Maycock has now had his May crash. And David Turton's number 25 is absolutely smashed up there. But I think that was number 21 of Steve Hicks spinning out again right at the front of the field. Oh dear. JP will not like seeing that if he did it. Tom Simpson's had some time in the wall as well. Who has survived is Aidan Bliss with the big face. He's got relatively light damage on the front of his number 24. The number 22 is in a bit of a mess. That's Peter Cowan. Well, the virtual Mazda spares department will be rejoicing at that one. We're just trying to find out who the leader is at the moment. Apologies, folks. As we go up the order, there's Tom Edwards and Rob Rawls. Oh, there's more chaos on the back straight, and that's Tony Simpson off the road in the number 26. JJ Aston's off as well. James Child spinning in the background. Oh boy, oh boy. Tom Simpson goes round again in the number 15. This is just survival at the moment. Kieran Chisky's got relatively little damage there. Well done, Kieran. Well, it looks like he's going into the pits. Anwar Barul Smith has had some damage as well. You can see the front left corner of his car is definitely damaged. And Steve Hicks goes into the pits for the 97th time today. There's Mike Hart. He had incidents on lap number 1, which meant he had to fight back through and eventually got 11th place. Relatively, I'm using the word relatively a lot. But that was a bit of a mess from most. Look, I'm not even going to list the number of drivers who are in the pit. Steve Hicks is having repairs done to his car. There's Tony Simpson. We saw him spinning on the back straight early on. Here we go. Here are the front runners. Finally been able to find them. Dan Cohen's got himself up to 4th place. Tom Banks is in 3rd. What on earth has happened here? Well, Tom Banks, who had issues on lap number 1 of race 1, so I presume has benefited from the reverse grid. He's got a relatively clean car as well. No new Wrangler genes required in this race so far. Banks up into the top 3, and he did do well last night in the practice event. Keeping things clean, he was able to win in that 6-car event. This is a much bigger one, of course, with over 40 cars out on circuits, or were out on circuits. Half of them are in the pits at the moment. Calvin Greaterix there in P2. So your leader, in fact, is Matthew Graham. So Matthew Graham, after the engine failure in race number 1, is now taking advantage of that and leading, but he's had some contact early in this race. You can see him there. We've got Jamie Jakins just ahead. He's 32nd, so already about a third, well, a quarter of the field, shall we say, is off the lead lap. Jamie Jakins will hopefully just keep out of the way of the leaders as they start to come through. And he does so. So Matthew Graham is in a good position here with the speed that we've seen from him already this evening. He's got a good chance to win this race. Calvin Greaterix still there in 2nd place. Tom Banks in 3rd. Daniel Cohen and the Oreo car is in 4th. Great battle going on behind though with Kirith Kalirai in the number 16 trying to hold on for 5th place at the moment ahead of Tom Dix. Didn't see much of Tom in the first race. Raced a little bit in the 2019 Lightweight Sprint Championship in Club 100. Trying to put Kalirai under pressure here at the moment. They've got Chris Meads just behind them. As down the inside goes Tom Dix. Nice move there. Oh, but it's just overshot a little bit. Chris Meads is going to have a go at trying to go around the outside of Dix. In this technical part of the circuit, I think Josh Wellard's just behind this group as well. Yes, there he is. And I've got to say, well, I think one of the best liveries we've got out there tonight. It's almost a little bit Fernando Alonso style with the light blue, the yellow and the red. The Intel logos on the side, but Josh Wellard, oh, actually no, unfortunately Josh is already a lap down. He's down in 34th position, but he's still plugging away. Simon Young, unfortunately, is in the pits. Aidan Bliss is in the pits as well. Let's go back to the leaders then. Jamie Jakins, as we mentioned, is a lap down. Calvin Greaterix in the number 98, having a little look at the inside of Jakins. Tom Banks just holding there in 3rd. Ooh, Greaterix runs a little bit wide though. A little bit too eager to get past the number 48. And will this give Banks the run down into the hairpin? He's got to be careful though, because as we say, Jamie Jakins just ahead, and I think Banks is just holding fire here. It's a good strategy to have at this stage of the race, and in fact he's going to use the Moses effect of Greatorex going by to follow through and get rid of Jamie Jenkins in terms of lapping him. So this is a good battle going on for second place onto the back straight. And Cohen still just behind there in fourth place. He's got to get the job done on Jamie Jenkins now. Pressure being applied by Banks, trying to get Greatorex offline in the All Talk Racing entry, and has almost got side by side there. This is good stuff at the moment from both of these drivers. You probably know that Matthew Graham's a little bit quicker than them, and it's going to be hard to stay with him, so they're fighting for second place already. End of lap 4. Can Banks go down the inside here of Greatorex? He's got to get it done on the brakes, got to be brave. And side by side, Greatorex running round the outside. Still side by side, these two. This is really good stuff from two drivers that we don't regularly see in the Club 100. And in fact, that's a fantastic move by Tom Banks round the outside of Greatorex. He's been working to get him offline for a while, and the hard work has persevered there, and Tom Banks is up to second place now. Greatorex will have the slipstream as they go over the top of the hill and into turn 5. Dan Cohen starting to get involved as well, closing in the Oreo Mazda in fourth place. Banks defending now down into turn 5. Hard on the brakes. You can see the discs glowing on the rear axle there of the number 40. This is fantastic racing. This will be pleasing, JV. A little bit running wide there, but no troubles, no off tracks for that corner. Greatorex looking down the inside. Can he get the move done? It's a very fast entry into this left-hander as Matthew Graham sneaks past another one of the back markers, and Dan Cohen is now on the rear bumper of Greatorex. Banks just starting to pull away a little bit ahead of Greatorex. Little wobble for Dan Cohen as they come out of the final corner. It's a shame for Jamie Jenkins that he's had incidents so far in this race, because he's clearly shown that he's got the pace at the moment of the front runners. Cohen has a little look down the inside of Calvin there. He's not quite able to get the move done. Sixth lap of this second heat of the evening. This battle for second place really starting to hot up now. Always Banks a little bit slow off the corner there at Wood Curve. He's going to have to defend now as they go down the hill into the turn 5 hairpin. Greatorex will try and go round the outside, or maybe go for the switch back through turn 5. Dan Cohen definitely got the best seat in the house at the moment. Good defending there from Tom Banks, holding on to this second place. This would be a brilliant result for Banks if he was able to take it. He's just got to keep things nice and calm with, as we say, 3 laps plus the rest of this one to go. Dan Cohen just waiting for his chance to overtake as well. Still there in fourth place. Chris Meads coming out of the pit lane, so some drivers still having trouble. Here's Andrew Ward, 26th position at the moment for the number 37 car. Doesn't regularly drive Mazda MX-5s here on iRacing. There's your leader, Matthew Graham. Clearly out front, keeping things nice and calm. The pace doesn't need to be overly quick at the moment. A 146.7 last time around for Matthew Graham. David Turton, we saw him have the big crash on lap 1 of this race. He's now in 42nd position. Raymond Norris Oh, runs wide there and is off the road is Norris. 27th at the moment, for his 1 lap off the lead. Back with our battle for second place though, still Tom Banks ahead of Calvin Greatorex. Dan Cohen still 4th. Jamie Jenkins will be hoping he can close Norris down there in the number 8. Tom Dix holding a good top 5 at the moment. Banks having a couple of disappearing on and off track issues. Don't worry about that. It'll just because Lindsay will be watching Bake Off, or Kimmy the Cat's eating through the cables again. But Banks still there in second place. Dan Cohen has a little look for 3rd. Just trying to get past Raymond Norris at the moment, who is a lap down. It's a bit of an awkward place to catch a back marker there, but Norris could have pulled to one side and let this trio go through. That's good news for Banks though. He's just got a little bit of a gap now ahead of Greatorex. Oh, is this a problem? What's happened to Tom Banks? Slowing down there. Has he got a problem? Has he got an engine problem? He has had downshift issues in the MX-5s before. He's very slow down the pit straight, but all of a sudden it's gone wrong for Tom Banks there. Lost second place. He seems to be back up to speed now being challenged for 3rd by Dan Cohen. And is Dan Cohen going to find his way through? Norris just behind as well. Tom Dix has got past Jamie Jenkins in terms of him being a back marker, so he's starting to close in now. But what happened there to Tom Banks? He just seemed to lose all momentum as he came out of Mike Knight corner. Dan Cohen's now going to go down the inside into Atwood. He's taking a lot of speed there. Has he got it done? Yes, great move by Dan Cohen. Up into 3rd place now. Tom Banks trying to fight back. It just seems he has problems on downshift into the medium speed corners. Once he's back on the straights, he seems okay, as Norris now tries to unlap himself against Banks. Banks recovers, now back down the inside of Cohen for that 3rd place into turn 5. Has he got the move done? Still side by side. Oh, contacted. Banks is in the wall. Banks is out of the race. He was having such a good run there, but he gets turned by Daniel Cohen. Around he goes. Well, he's not lost too many positions, but that's not good news for Banks whatsoever. He's lost out to... well, now Tom Dix is going to try and dive down the inside of Dan Cohen. So this is still for 3rd place. Cohen 3rd in the Oreo car, 4th for Tom Dix in the Logitech orange and blue entry. John Maycock's all of a sudden arrived on the scene, but he's a lap down in 23rd, so at least he's got past Jenkins in the Marlborough effort, and Raymond Norris in the 2-tone blue entry as well. There is Banks. He's going to be down to, what's that, 6th place, with Anwar Barul Smith, winner from race 1, closing in as well. There he is. So he's quietly got on with things over the course of the last 8 laps. He's up to 6th place now. James Waller, we've not talked about James Waller too much so far. He seems to have kept his car, the front end of it at least. Oh, Jamie Jenkins is off in the number 48. But James Waller's still there in 7th place. Nice Martini livery, nice wheels as well. Ooh, very shiny blue wheels on that number 42 car, just going past Raymond Norris. Kirith Kalirai, 8th. And 2 drivers that we saw fighting in race 1. Here they are again, Hussein Rashid and Mark Mercer, 12 and 1. Just wrapping out the top 10 at the moment. Mercer down the inside of Rashid, looking for a move into turn 5. Very popular overtaking opportunity for our drivers tonight. And that's going to be a nice clean move there from Mark Mercer. Through and into 9th position. Very good point from Madman Daz. Slow down penalty, quite possibly for Banks. A shame for him. Oh, as Hussein Rashid gets up the inside of Cali Ryan, nearly runs into the back of Mercer. Everyone just about keeps going for now. James Child has got his way into this. Oh, apologies, no, he's a lap down because he had a spin beforehand as well. And drivers coming into the pits, so problems of either a mechanical or a penalty-related situation for Mercer. It's the end of his race. And Calirai as well, so a shame for Calirai there because he was up in the top 10. Let's try and find our leaders for you as we have a look at Peter Cowan there. Tom Dixon, Dan Cohen fighting. Tom Dixon's got ahead of Dan Cohen now. He's over third place still. There's Calvin Greatorex. Got support in the comments. It'd be a good result here for All Talk Racing if they could get Calvin into second place. I think it's David Turton just ahead of him in the number 25 at the moment, who we saw having the incident on turn 1. Where is our leader? Oh, there was. I saw calls for Mish. There he is. Not having a crash. It's okay. He's not having a crash at the moment. There's your leader off the circuit. Matthew Graham in the number 1. Needs to be careful that he doesn't pick up any penalties this late on. He is actually on his last lap as well. So Matthew Graham, having had engine failure in the first race, has used the reverse grid brilliantly and is going to take victory here at Okayama International Speedway. The second race of the evening in this exhibition event here on the Double Dash Motorsport Media Channel. Round the final corner, Matthew Graham from the University of West of England takes another win in 2020, this time on iRacing in the MX-5. It's a fantastic victory for Matthew Graham, dominant from start to finish. Looking out now for where second place is going to be. They're just coming over the line now. So Calvin Greatorex finishes in second place. Tom Dix is third. Dan Cohen in fourth. Fifth for Anwar Barul Smith. So Anwar Barul Smith gets the top 5 right at the end there. Good points for him. Tom Dix in 6th. James Waller finishes in 7th. Hussein Rashid 8th. James Ibrahim gets the top 10 there. Good finish for him. Tony Simpson is going to wrap out the top 10. Good result for Tony there. In the Bumblebee car, as I'm calling it. P10 for him. And looking a little bit further back, where's our 11th place finisher? There it is, Josh Ladd. Had to start from the back of the grid, obviously, having got second in race number 1. And get some more good points. And oh, he's been mounted by a Hicks. Oh my! Aidan Bliss and that big old face. Well, that's going to have an imprint of catch fencing up against it now. Well, that's kind of what happens after the checkered flag, doesn't it? JJ, help me out here, buddy. What did you think of that second race of the evening?
Well, I just think it's a real shame, particularly right at the start there. I mean, do these drivers not know how much effort Club 100 go to get these cars ready for them? The stream's just caught up for me with that crash at the end there. Just disrespect for the mechanics and what they do. That's going to cost them untold amount. Imagine the G-forces going through those types of crashes as well. Really unfortunate stuff there. But again, really unfortunate as well for Tom Banks. That was a real shame to see him go from a very good P2 and then just fall down the order. But yes, no, I think once he got through all the crashing on lap 1, it turned it into a relatively sensible race. So I still think, despite what some of the incidents we've seen, as we saw just then, I think the standard of racing has been relatively decent. I think. Can I be so bold as to say that?
Yeah, I think once it's all calmed down, it's been okay. Just for everyone's info, we're going to go into a 10-minute warm-up session as I now try and figure out the points and the scorings of this one. Bear with me. Yeah, I think once everything's calmed down, we've got through lap 1, the standards have been decent.
Yes, absolutely. Everyone asking where Mish is. He had a crash right at the start of the race and then fell by the wayside. I don't think we saw him at any point as well. Obviously, everyone asking as well, where the hell's Chigo, as Ben Burns would ask. He also was in the pits early on, so I don't think we saw much from him for the rest of the race. Also, Ben Burns, you asked me to shout Hobnob over the live stream, so I'm not going to shout it, but I will just simply say Hobnob. we've got Daniel Cohen. So now we've got some of the drivers who have finished the race. They're now meant to look at their phones again. Shouldn't text and drive, folks. So these drivers demonstrating that. Gibram Racing, the man who supposedly got his PhD today, but as it turns out, hasn't actually even started his final year of undergrad. So not sure what that was all about. Not bad for 29 frames per second on a 14-inch screen. Not bad at all. But now, of course, we come into for Daniel Cohen, obviously the man involved in the incident with Tom Banks. He says that Banks didn't see me there and unfortunately spun. Was racing incident. It was a racing incident. Grammar, Daniel. Grammar, come on. You're better than that. Kevin fast as well with a I'm not entirely sure what this is. We've got a yellow man turning green, some hand gel, and something in a box. Not sure what that's all about, but there we go. Let's have a look through some more comments. Kibble fast dabbing on the Oreo. Not sure that's allowed, but okay. Madame Daz getting involved as well. So, I suppose this is quite a good question. Presumably, this is a privately hosted event,
Oh, yes.
so luckily it won't affect anyone's safety rating. I think that is very, very apt for what we saw at the start of that race. And obviously, Club 100 themselves getting involved as well. I can just imagine a little shiver was running down JV's spine, even if he's watching, if he's not watching. What was it? Oh, I've just suddenly lost my train of thought. But yes, JV, I can't imagine, would have been very happy to see the start. I think it's definitely a very good shout that this wasn't an official Club 100 event, because obviously standard of racing and all that. But it's all good fun. We all know what we are doing. It was also good to see some old names from the BUKC. I think they're both current. Rear donator of Leicester and Archie Hopton getting involved as well. Obviously, this year's president, captain, however they want to call it, of the Warwick outfit. Obviously, following the departure of the likes of Sam Cobb and Alistair Irvine. Obviously, with that Warwick not having a standout season, but still doing all right. I think they've got 2 teams into the mains championship for this year, and then my major apologies to Madame Daz. Obviously, I say sir.
Because that's Madman, isn't it?
Madman. Oh yes, there we go. That's okay. So Madman. That's what that meant to be. All righty. Okay. So apologies to Madman Daz. Obviously, we're not a madam, and also should be on out. Thank Daniel Cohen for mentioning this. Obviously, getting his new wheel from Mr. James Derrick, who is awaiting a new set to come in, so he can hopefully get some iRacing underway once again. Matt Hale coming in as well, obviously the G3 Pro driver. Try not to get any black flags, hence why he's crap apparently. So
that's very harsh on himself.
It's very harsh, but you know, you got to have a little bit of self-criticism every now and again. It's what makes us stronger. If you're able to look at your mistakes and improve on them, then you're undoubtedly going to get better. It's good to see as well. We've got the schedule back on screen. So right now we are about to go into a 10-minute warm-up.
That's mainly because I couldn't remember what the point system was. It's all gone wrong.
There we go. So obviously, Andrew currently working on this tonight's version of the spreadsheet of doom,
which is a pad and paper at the moment.
It's a pen and paper. We're going back to the
old school.
Love a bit no school like the old school. Obviously, I'm sure it makes it an awful lot more complicated. I hope you've got a calculator to help out with the arithmetic. I certainly need one.
Mr. Hicks promised me that the results were going to come through on the iRacing website, but they're not. I've got last night's for the test event, but not these.
So he crashes in race 1, he crashes in race 2, and he doesn't. His information is misleading.
Yes.
Shame.
I think in short, I think this is the most provisional result I've probably ever stated. I think Anwar's winning.
There we
he's
go.
Got a win and a 5th. And will have decent grid position for the next race as well. Although he will be in the middle of Bandit Central. He will be right in the mix there and hoping to just nurse his way through lap 1 and then get a good finish, probably another top 5 again, to close out this victory.
I'll say technical question for you, Andrew, from HighRever888. Is 480p the max resolution on this stream?
For now, yes. Apologies.
There's your answer, Mr. HighRever. So yeah, 480 the maximum. So far,
It's YouTube.
Yes. As a linguist, I have absolutely no idea what any of that means. So I'm just gonna smile and wave for that one.
Whose performances has caught your eye this evening so far, JJ?
I think I have to say Josh Ladd has been doing a sterling effort. Obviously, second in the first race, and then climbing from the second to last in the final race up to 11th. I think that can't be understated. Who else has been in there? I think Matthew Graham as well. Obviously, if you are from the BUKC Facebook group, the name Matthew Graham is a controversial one, of course, from UE, and I can't help but wonder if there are going to be some conspiracy theories being thrown up by members of a certain university in the west of England, in the middle of England, that maybe the gearbox issue was deliberate. I'm just going to throw that one in there, Matthew Graham, if you're out there. No, I don't want anything any further feuds to go about on the Facebook page, but it's one that could certainly come about.
Having said that, though, he is at like a 35-point deficit now over Anwar from because he only got 40th in race number 1.
Ooh. Okay. Maybe I'll just retract that comment there. Obviously, it would be minor suicide then for the race itself to do that deliberately. I mean, who would do that? Who would do that? All just going a little bit quiet in the comments. HighRever888 watching this on a 58-inch screen.
Very good.
So
I don't have a 58-inch TV screen. Good for you. I did see some comments earlier about Russ's sausage. Don't worry, Okayama does not have any large sausage curbs, thankfully. So all the drivers are perfectly safe. Do not need any added protection from the sausage curbs tonight. Hello to Pete Wellard. Obviously cheering on Josh Wellard. It says, great work, fellas. Thank you very much. And yeah, do keep your comments coming in. Do give the Double Dash Motorsport media page a like. As I say, this is the first time we've done this. First time that we've done a stream on iRacing from a commentary perspective. And yeah, we're enjoying it. The grid is now forming for the final race of the evening. So remember, this is the top 15 from race 2 reversed. And then everybody else, 16th downwards, starts in the same position they finished race 2. Anwar Barul Smith, we reckon, is your leader at the moment in this event on a 1st and a 5th and 189 points scored so far. Looks like we've got Jordan Salter will be on pole position for the start of this race. In fact, no, Mike Hartz will be pole position for this last race of the evening. Jordan Salter alongside him on the front row of the grid. We're getting ready then for the final race. 10 laps, will be the order on the schedule again. Mike Hart's just disappeared off the grid. Oh, there, away we go then for the final race of the evening. Very good start for Josh Ladd there in the number 14, just as he did in race number 1. Jordan Salter will challenge Mike Hart into turn number 1 and take the position. Great start from Jordan Salter then in the number 35. Are they all going to survive the first couple of laps? The first couple of corners, I should say. Jordan Salter running away with it already. Ladd up to 3rd. I think Tom Edwards has made his way up to 4th place as the rest of the field comes through. Josh Ladd having a look at Mike Hart there for 2nd place. For now, at the front at least, everyone seems to be okay and still running. There's James Waller in the middle of it all in the Martini car. Anwar Barul-Smith has survived the first couple of corners. If he's going to close out this victory here this evening, that's exactly what he needed to do. He's fighting with Tom Banks at the moment. Kieran Chitsey is in there as well. The number 42 of James Waller is being challenged there by, we say, the number 18 of Kieran Chitsey. Let's see Dan Cohen and round there goes Calvin Greatorix. So Calvin Greatorix, after his great results in race number 2, has spun out there. That's unfortunate news for him. Very, very tight as we come to the end of lap number 1. So top 15, remember, have been reversed from race number 2. They've fought their way through from the first 2 races. At the end of lap 1, looks like it's going to be Jordan Salter still out front then for a good start for him. Tony Simpson is already in the pits, so he's had some form of problem. Looking a little bit further back, Jamie Jenkins has had a decent start there in 25th position. Mark Mercer, he of course had the penalty or the problem that brought him into the pits in race number 2, starting to work his way up already, back up to 16th place. John Maycock wrapping out the top 15 at the moment. Mish is alive, at least on lap number 2. He's going down the inside of Tom Dix for 13th place. Qualified very well, did Mish, was 2nd fastest at the start of the evening and is making good progress here. That's him up to P13. Dan Cohen next up for him. Anwar Barul-Smith's in the middle of all of this in 11th place, and this is a huge train forming up behind. It's James Ibram. Down the inside of him, it's nearly 3 wide, 4 wide. Anwar Barul-Smith diving down the inside of Tom Edwards there. Has got the move done. Tom Banks is being shuffled back. Matthew Graham still involved as well as Ibram and Waller fights out for 6th place. Pulsating stuff again here in the Mazda MX-5s. Down the back straight we go then, here on lap number 2. Waller down the inside of Ibram. I think he's got the move done. Great stuff there from James Waller, but Ibram's going to fight back, and this is going to encourage Anwar Barul-Smith to come into this. Anwar Barul-Smith's going to try and follow Ibram and his inside line, but Waller defends that very, very well indeed. Mish starting to come into this as well, the number 60 in the yellow and black, kind of halved down the side of the car livery, that have really made their way away from the rest of the field as Barul-Smith looks down the inside of James Ibram into turn 1. Can he get the move done? This is for 7th place. Sweet as you like. Oh, Matthew Graham trying to fight through there as well, is forced to the outside by the BUKC Inters driver for Edinburgh University. He's going to have to hold in there for now. Let's look a little bit further up the order. Hussein Rashid's had a really solid night so far. Has always been up in that top 15. Had to fight through in race 2. Started from the back of the field. Got a good top 10, hence why he's up here in this position. Could be on for a round podium at the end of the evening. He's currently chasing down Kieran Chitsey, but here's the battle for the lead. It's Josh Ladd up the inside of Jordan Salter going for 1st place. Can Ladd get it stopped? Yes, he can. Great stuff there from Josh Ladd. 2nd in race 1, 11th in race 2. Here he is now at the front of the field, and we know he's got pace. He's one of the only drivers who's been in the 145s. Christian Skates says, when I say more, you say Mitch. Well, he's in this race. He's really, really a factor in this one. Ladd from Salter, Mike Hart there in the mean Mazda in 3rd. Chitsey gets a little bit out of shape there. in his battle for 4th place with Hussein Rashid. There's Anwar Barul-Smith, who's now up to 6th place. In fact, him and Matthew Graham have both got past James Waller, as it looks like Tom Edwards is going to have to come into the pits, unfortunately. I suspect that may be for a black flag. Oh, as Mish, where are you going, son? Bang, into the fence. Matt Isherwood crashes out of this one as John Maycock and Tom Dix are in the pits as well for what could be reverse. Gets going again, but has lost about 10 positions there. That's not what we want to see at all from the Cardiff legend. Here we're looking at Tom Banks trying to fight with Mark Mercer, who has a bit of a moment there across the gravel. Just about pulls it all together. James Ibrahim still there in the top 10. James Waller just starting to lose touch now of Matthew Graham and Anwar Barul-Smith, who will hope that this group up here keep fighting. Still Ladd from Salter, Hart's there in 3rd. In 4th, Hussein Rashid 5th. Great thing about this level is bringing drivers of all different disciplines together. Chidsky ran superbly last season in the super heavyweights class of Club 100 sprint action, which will hopefully be recommencing in July. As Hussein Rashid looks down the inside, makes contact. Oh, Kieran Chidsky gets forced wide there. He's going to dive back down the inside. Yes, he is. A bit more contact. A little kiss there from Hussein Rashid on the rear bumper of Kieran Chidsky. Kieran holds on for 4th. Hussein Rashid himself, a sprint racer, but in the lightweights category. And there's fighting going on for the lead now as well. Is that 3 wide for the lead? I think it was. Apologies, we've just lost control of the cameras for the moment. They're trying to get past Aidan Bliss. So Josh Ladd still there in 1st. Jordan Salter in 2nd. Aidan Bliss takes a trip into the kitty litter and exits stage left. Now he's coming back on with that big old face still on the front of his car. But Josh Ladd has got control of this race now. Got Adrian Mertens just ahead of him, who's currently in 36th position. Josh Ladd gets good drive there out of the Atwoods hairpin and will pull alongside Jordan Salter. 2nd place for him now. Kieran Chidsky has got through into 3rd place, so the fans of Chigo will rejoice at that news there. Mike Hart going defensive a little bit. Oh, Chidsky runs wide there. He's going to offer the chance to Mike Hart to get back through. They're going to be side by side to the first of these left-handers. Great racing going on again at the front of the field as they go around Piper's Corner. Short straight now. Aidan Bliss just keeping out of the way as Rashid looks down the inside of Mike Hart there. Oh, is there contact? And is Hart going round? Half round, recovers it, holds on. But he's going to have lost at least 1 position, maybe 2. He's got Anwar Barul-Smith now all over his rear axle. Matthew Graham not too far behind. This could be a crucial position for Anwar Barul-Smith. Finishes all 3 races up in the top 5. Keep an eye on this as they complete lap number 5, and Anwar Barul-Smith is going to go down the inside of Mike Hart, surely into turn 1. Simple as you like, as Simon Young just pulls off the circuit, but Hart trying to hold around the outside there, using all that skill that he's acquired over the years from racing with Birmingham in the BUKC back in the mid-2000s, of course, and is still in there with Anwar Barul-Smith, but eventually the 2015 Sprints champion has won out this battle, and that's him up to 5th place. Matthew Graham still there in 7th place. He's now looking at a strong finish to this event. It's a shame he had the problems in race number 1, of course. Otherwise he would have been right up there in the points. Graham looks down the inside then of Mike Hart. He's trying to get it all stopped. Is there going to be contact? Oh, there is. And Anwar Barul-Smith gets half taken out by that. Didn't expect that coming. Aidan Bliss is now on the grass as well in the number 24. Well, that will be very, very interesting to have a look at after the race, because Matthew Graham, it was a bold move. He was deep on the brakes downhill into turn number 5. Made contact with both Mike Hart and Anwar Barul-Smith, who I suspect won't be too happy about that one. James Waller now being pulled back into this. 8th place for him in the Martini car at the moment. Mark Mercer just behind in 9th. There's Jack Jensen, who I think has got past Tom Banks on this lap. And should be up to 10th. In fact, no, we've lost our 10th position car on that last lap, so unfortunately one of them has fallen down. Whoa, huge save there from Raymond Norris just towards the back of his shot. Mish alert. Let's see where Mish is. There he is, 31st at the moment for Matt Isherwood. The pace isn't great. A 150.262 at the moment, as Mish and his wounded car after that date with the pit wall. Not been the day that Matt Isherwood would have wanted. I'm sure he'll be back for more adventures in the near future. Here's Josh Ladd, still your leader here on lap number 7. Well, a first, a second and an 11th. I'll have to tally the points up later, but that will be a good looking score for Ladd here. Got a fair old gap to Jordan Salter. There he is, Jordan Salter in number 35 in 2nd place. Kieran Chitsey, as you say, strong in super heavyweights last season. Now in 3rd place in this race. Hussein Rashid there in 4th, Matthew Graham 5th. Great battle going on for 7th place, just behind is Barul-Smith. Has got up to 6th place, so Mike Hart there in 7th ahead of James Waller and Mark Mercer. Mercer having a half look down the inside there. Not able to get the move done, but definitely looks a little bit quicker than James Waller at this stage of the race. Jack Jensen up to 10th. This race very much has had the more experienced drivers, the ones who've been clearly practicing in the Mazda MX-5s, coming up to the front of the field. Here's Tom Banks in 11th place. In Bliss, unfortunately, a lap down in 32nd. There's James Ibram still in 12th. Jamie Jenkins, seen a fair amount of him tonight. He's having his strongest run so far, up to 13th. Peter Cowan as well, 14th. He's wrapping out the top 15 at the moment. Raymond Norris, that's a good drive there from Raymond Norris. JJ Hastings just trying to work his way in though, in 16th. Right, let's give Matt Hale a shout out as well. Not the most experienced, I've been told, on iRacing, but he's currently up in the top 20. Long-time racer in the Endurance Championship. G3 Pro sponsors of Club 100 as well, of course. And at least the last few years, I've had 3 teams in the Endurance Championship, racing across the different classes. Good group of guys, love the racing. Great to have Matt here for the course of the action this evening. Battle for 3rd place, Kieran Chitsey still in 3rd ahead of Hussein Rashid, but I do think they are being slightly closed in on by Matthew Graham. Winner of race number 2, there he is. Maybe they can work together to start on Salter as well. We've not talked about this man in this race, Steve Hicks, with a clean car. I cannot believe what I'm seeing right now.
not in second place at the moment, down in 37th. So he must have had some form of incident or self-inflicted penalty. Just ahead of Josh Ladd, or just ahead of him is Josh Ladd, who looks comfortable at this stage. 2 laps, including this one, to go. We'll get the calculators out afterwards. For Anwar Barul Smith to win this event, this points event across the 3 heats. Kieran's starting to pull a little bit of a gap on Hussein Rashid now. That's just what he needs. I think Matthew Graham is going to really attack this last lap or so. Try and get himself every single point he can get. Very much fighting back from obviously the disappointment of race number 1 when he had the engine failure. Anwar Barul Smith still holding nicely in 6th place. This is what he did across the course. It was done for years really, across a number of series, but especially in Club 100 in the sprint series. It's always been a factor. He's always been consistently putting the good scores in. He's very much applied that this evening. Back with the leader then of this race, Josh Ladd. We said at the top of the programme to look out for Josh Ladd. Does a lot of work on iRacing. And it's been great to have the breadth of experience as well. I think it's going to really encourage some of the drivers who've obviously picked up iRacing in recent weeks during the COVID-19 situation that we've all been experiencing. Very accessible way of getting into a high level of sim racing. Josh Ladd, 8.2k I rating, of course. Racing for Cardiff as well this season in the BUKC. So this is a little bit of cheer for the Cardiff team. We've had some rough seasons in recent past. They've definitely got some drivers with some talent. Just shows the level of depth within the BUKC, which fingers crossed we'll have back on the Double Dash Motorsport Media Network for you later in the year, of course. But Josh Ladd's got a couple more corners to negotiate now to close out this victory. It's been a very good evening for him. Second in race number 1. Had to fight from the back of the grid in the reverse grid race and got up to P11. And has taken things very nicely in race number 3 from 4th place on the grid. It's going to be a win for Josh Ladd here at Okayama International Speedway. A cross-start finish. A very good performance indeed. Second place is going to go to Jordan Salter. Third, just on the line, is Kieran Chitsky. It's going to be 4th for Hussein Rashid. 5th for Anwar Barul Smith. So what happened to Matthew Graham late on? Apologies, we missed that. Mike Hart 6th. Mark Mercer 7th. Jack Jensen in 8th. Waller 9th. Another good result for Banks there, top 10. Aidan Bliss finished a lap down. James Ibram in 11th. Peter Cowan 12th. And looking out for where Steve Hicks is doing donuts now in the middle of the circuit. And generally causing chaos. Just trying. Oh, Matthew's in the pits there. So Matthew Graham obviously had some form of problem late on, and in the end finishes in 19th, so he won't be up at the top end of the order. Just because I know a lot of his fans are still in the chat, here is the main man, Mish. It's a Cardiff success at the front of the field. Well, it's going to be a top 30 for Matt Isherwood in this one. Not the result he would have wanted at the start of the night, having had a very good qualifying, but has kept it going to the end. Great stuff there, and clearly has had a lot of fun. Last driver across the line, I think it's going to be James Fremont. There he is, across the line there for James Fremont. And I think that is all of our runners and riders in. End of the third race of the evening. I'm going to bring JJ back in. What were your thoughts on that third race, mate?
Well, I would love to say that I was fully engrossed in it. I was too busy trying to keep Rob Edwards and Christian Skates at bay for all the Mish comments. But I think I relinquished control at the end there. But no, great victory for Josh Ladd. And yeah, just thought so much cleaner in that one as well. That's really great to see.
Indeed. Not had the results come through yet. How have you enjoyed generally the evening, Mr. Johnston?
I think it's been fantastic. I think it's something that I think we can definitely look into doing more of as this quarantine, lockdown, whatever you want to call it, continues. But hopefully we'll be coming out of it soon. But yeah, I think it just shows that whilst it might not be real life racing, it shows that the BUKC spirit and the spirit of Club 100 can live on through these virtual events. So I think it's been fantastic, and I'm looking forward to whenever the next one might be.
We're going to take a short break because the results have come through on CSV. We're going to have a couple of minutes to tally them up and be back shortly for, fingers crossed, the results of tonight's events. Stay here on the Double Dash Motorsport Media. We'll be back in a few moments' time. We're back here on the Double Dash Motorsport Media YouTube channel. Thank you very much to the event organiser who's been able to plug away at the points. We have got a result for this evening's event. We're going to go from 20th upwards to read out these results. So in 20th place, James Child on 217 points. 19th place was Matthew Graham on 219. Good result there in race number 2, especially with that win. 18th, Calvin Greatorex on 222, just pipped by Harry Jones in 17th place, 2-2 on 225. 16th with Tom Banks on 229 points into the top 15. Then John Maycock. We asked would he crash? He did crash, but got good results along the way. Got top 15 with 230. 14th for Jamie Jenkins on 231, 13th for Tom Dix on 232, so very close there in that middle part of the top 20. Moving up to 12th place, Adam State on 236, 11th for Mark Mercer on 238, 10th for Tom Edwards on 239, so into the top 10 now. 9th, Jack Jensen on 243, 8th place for James Wall on 244, Kieran Chidsey. Great performances across the day for the super heavyweight sprint driver, finished 7th at 249. in an actual tie for 6th place with James Ibbott on 2 minutes time. We'll suss out the tiebreak of that in due course. 5th place for Mike Hart on 251. 4th place for Jordan Salter on 264. Onto our podium then. Our top 3 here today at Okayama International Speedway for the Club 100 BUKC Drivers exhibition iRacing events here on the Global Dash Motorsport Media YouTube channel. 3rd place for Hussein Rashid, 268 points. But JJ, how about this? Top 2 has gone to a tiebreaker, both of them on 278 points. In 2nd place, though, due to the winner having a 1st and a 2nd place, Anwar Barul Smith takes 2nd place, and Josh Ladd, as we say, with that 1st place and the 2nd place in race 1, takes the win here this evening. Congratulations to him, the first winner of the iRacing events here on DDMM. I think we've lost JJ, unfortunately.
Oh no,
you're still there. You're still there.
I'm still there. I thought you were still going for it.
Fair enough. Josh Ladd, our winner tonight on Countback, 1st and 2nd place. How about that?
Brilliant. Yes. No, I thought it was his 2nd race coming from the back to finish 11th. I thought that was a very deserved victory for that. And all I can say is, well done, lad. Well done.
Very, very good stuff indeed. Well, we're going to wrap things up here at this point. It's been a bit chaotic. It's been a bit dramatic as well. But I hope you've all enjoyed this first event. We may do more of them. We're going to review what's gone well, what's not gone so well over the course of the last couple of hours. But thank you very much for joining us here this evening on the Double Dash Motorsport Media channel. My name's been Andrew Mather. I've been joined by James Johnston from Rich T Racing. If you've enjoyed, do subscribe to the channel. Do click the notification bell as well, as we do a bit more streaming on both iRacing and console platforms in the next couple of weeks. Of course, you can tweet us and follow us at @MM on Twitter. Same tag for Instagram as well. And of course, like the Facebook page. That's where most of our stuff happens in terms of notifications and news. So Double Dash Motorsport Media across on Facebook. Do give that a like, and the website as well, www.double-mm.com. Thank you very much. Do stay safe for the next coming week and whatever comes after that point, as well, as we all try and get through this strange period of time. Thank you very much for joining. We'll see you very, very soon.